There's an airport in Japan that's considered one of the boldest construction projects in human history. It's called Kansai International Airport. But this isn't just any ordinary airport. It was built in a place where there was no land before, right in the middle of Osaka Bay, out over open water. The first phase wasn't easy at all. Engineers had to start by testing the seabed, measuring the soft muddy layers, and studying the conditions of the ground beneath the water in detail. They analyze it carefully. The airport wasn't being built on solid rock. Instead, it was being constructed on land filled with soft seabed mud. Then, one of the most important tasks began: making the ground stable. They brought in huge machines and ships for this. These placed long, sand-like pipes deep into the soft, muddy soil underwater. This helps the water trapped inside the soil drain out quickly, because the entire weight of the airport would rest on this ground. After that, they built a massive sea defense wall called a seawall, using big rocks and strong concrete. Blocks, big ships, cranes, and lots of workers all started working together. Slowly, they built a strong wall out in the middle of the sea. This wall's job was to keep the artificial island safe. In the future, when big waves, sea currents, or storms come, this wall will protect the island from their impact. After finishing the protective wall all around, they began filling in the sea. Huge ships brought in millions of tons of sand, stones, and other fill materials, dumping them in the sea area. Then, bulldozers, rollers, and other heavy machines worked day and night to level and solidify the ground. But even after building the island on the water, the work wasn't easy. That's because the ground underneath was still slowly settling. So, the engineers constantly monitored the soil conditions with special instruments. Whenever any part of the land sank, they would fill it up and raise it again. Once the island's ground was firm enough, the real airport construction began. They started by making the airfield. That's the place where planes take off and land. For that, they needed a really long, perfectly straight, and super sturdy runway. First, the runway was built. Then, gradually, the taxiways and other parts for the planes were constructed. They set up the standing areas, water drainage, lighting lines, service roads, and various essential pipelines. Every step was really important. First came the solid base, then concrete, drainage, electrical lines, runway lights, and different markings, all made with great care. After that, they built the most recognizable part of this airport, Terminal 1. It's not a tall or bulky building. Instead, it's a long, low, and beautifully designed modern structure, stretching about 1.7 kilometers. Many people compare the shape of this building to a glider plane, because from the middle section, long wing-like parts spread out on both sides. That's where passengers board and get off the planes. This design wasn't just made to look good. It was created so that passengers could move around easily and air could flow properly. One of the most special parts of the terminal was its roof. A beautiful metal roof, like waves, was built on large steel structures and leaning sturdy columns. From afar, it looked like a huge wave covering the entire building. Inside the building, there's a huge open space where travelers can move around easily. It had a checking area, security and immigration zones. There were shops, arrangements for picking up luggage, boarding gates, and long pathways to get from one place to another. Everything was designed so the whole airport would work smoothly together like one big machine. Then came the control tower. First, they built a strong foundation on land reclaimed from the sea. Gradually, they constructed a tall concrete tower. Up top, there's a control room surrounded by windows. It's set up so you have a clear view all around. Then they install communication devices, ventilation, movement systems, lights, antennas, and other technical equipment there. From this spot, the staff can see the runway, taxiways, aircraft parking areas, gates, and the surrounding sea. They control the takeoff and landing of planes from here. So, it basically acts like the eyes of the entire airport.